My name is Paul Matthies. I was in law enforcement for 31 years before I retired in the year 2000. Well, I spent 4 years in the Navy after high school and got out, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And a friend of mine joined the California Highway Patrol, and it sounded interesting. It looked like an exciting life. So I got the application, took the test, and was accepted. And for the remaining 31 years, I worked for the California Highway Patrol. A couple of months before I did it. I didn't, when I got out of the Navy, I was an airplane mechanic, and that was an interest to me, but then I started looking around after the Navy and discovered that the job didn't pay that well, and it wasn't necessarily exciting, and I just wasn't that interested in it anymore. Well, you have to be patient, and I'm sure my family would say I don't have a lot of it, but you need patience to deal with people. You need to have, you need to use a little bit of psychology, actually a great bit of psychology, when dealing with irate or intoxicated or extremely upset people. So psychology is a great benefit to law enforcement work. Honesty, integrity, and enjoy dealing with people. Well, I went through high school. I was never a wonderful student. I didn't really enjoy school like some of my classmates. I was never an A student, and I got out of school, went to junior college for a short time, and then went in the Navy for 4 years, got out of the Navy, and went back to a community college up in Foothill Community College, and they had an aeronautics program that I got involved with. I think helping people. It was an exciting job. There's a lot of excitement. And there's also a lot of boredom, just driving around and monitoring traffic, investigating traffic collisions, looking for drunk or impaired drivers, all of those things. Challenges are exercising patience. Again, not overreacting in volatile situations, keeping a cool head during emergency situations. Other family challenges are the shift work that most law enforcement people have to deal with. Often have to work graveyard shifts, weekends, holidays. That's when law enforcement is needed out on the road, and that can generate a lot of negative impact on one's family life. I would certainly recommend everybody graduate from high school, college, or community college degrees are certainly advisable, but sometimes not necessary. Certain law enforcement agencies require a bachelor's degree to get into their organizations, like some police departments and I believe the FBI. I would encourage people, if they are interested in law enforcement and they haven't gone any further than high school, to enroll in local community colleges who offer administration of justice classes. Typical workday varies in different law enforcement agencies. Sometimes 8-hour shifts, 9-hour shifts, some have 10-hour shifts, and the longer workday you have, the more weekends you have off, the longer your weekends are. Basically 40 hours without overtime. Sometimes if you're investigating an accident at night or any shift, and you have follow-up work. Your work is extended past your normal work shift, but basically it's a 40-hour work week. I feel the field is growing because there's always a need for law enforcement. I think it is growing. Law enforcement agencies are constantly looking for qualified people. So it's not going to go away in the near future, that's for sure. How will the field change in the future? With the advent of the vest cameras that a lot of officers wear now to protect themselves from spurious claims against them, I see technology is a big component of law enforcement. If you go back when I first joined the California Highway Patrol in 1969, they didn't have DNA. They do now. That's been one of the biggest assets to law enforcement in crime and criminal investigations. So bottom line, I think the computerizing our work. That varies tremendously from one organization to another. I think some of the smaller agencies, like in the Midwest, I think starting range would be $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. In California, the cost of living is higher, and I believe our starting traffic officer in California Highway Patrol starts around $80,000 a year. That's approximate. And then after 3 or 4 years of seniority, it climbs up to well over $100,000 a year. Sure, it can be dangerous, very dangerous. It's a high-stress job often, coupled with absolute boredom. And many of our officers aren't in really good physical shape. Sometimes they have to chase down criminals. Sometimes their health is adversely affected by the profession. We have officers hit on the freeway. Some of them are killed on the freeway. So there are inherent hazards to the job. People only get fired when they mess up, when they do something they shouldn't do, when they break the law, when they become overly aggressive, when they don't use proper force tactics when arresting people, when they demonstrate any dishonesty, then they're going to get laid off. Well, a lot of retirees go into private investigation. They get a private investigator license. They do investigations for individuals. Some go in, become security guards, if that's your thing. Get on with large corporations as security guards. Depends on the job you have. You have administrative positions and you have road positions, at least in my department. When I was working road patrol in a black and white patrol car in uniform, I'd spend at least half the shift monitoring traffic, issuing citations, spend the other half of the shift investigating traffic collisions. But that's the highway patrol is strictly traffic law enforcement. You get other agencies that invest time in investigating criminal offenses, burglary, robbery, murder, things like that. No, I think I look back over my 31-year career and I thoroughly enjoyed it. There were some stressful times for my family and for me. I remember handling a traffic collision out in Lompoc where 11 people were killed in one crash. And big events like that can become very stressful. And I would do it again. It was a good career, and I would certainly recommend it to anybody that has a strong desire to get into law enforcement.